Good afternoon and welcome to a very, very special edition of the National Newspaper Publicists Association and the Black Press of America's Fire broadcast. A $10,000 scholarship, $5,000 stipend, and a virtual journalism fellowship of a lifetime. That's what our guests today have experienced this summer. Chevrolet and the Nnpa, the National Newspaper Publishers Association, gave HBCU students an exciting opportunity to discover the unexpected about their communities, their careers, and themselves. We're now joined by those fabulous fellows from the Discover the Unexpected. Welcome, fellows. And you guys are, oh, there you go. There you go. So let's, June, you know what? I'm going to start with June because, you know, June has got that bright smile on, and we love to get started with that energy. June, take yourself on mute and tell us, first of all, your full name, June, or you just like Madonna, just go by June? Just like Prince. Like Prince. Oh, even better. You and I are right here. That's my boy. June, first of all, tell us a little bit, just briefly, because we're going to get to everybody and we're going to come around with several questions for everybody. Your background, and also which of the Black newspapers this summer you worked with.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is June. I'm a sophomore marketing major at Howard University. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And this summer, I have the pleasure of working with the Houston Forward Times. And it's truly just been amazing working with them and getting introduced and really just having fun with storytelling.
You know what, June, I spoke to Karen Carter Richards, the publisher of the Houston Forward Times, last week. She's also the chair of the National Newspaper Publicists Association. And I tell you, she was raving about you. I didn't realize it was you who she was talking about, but she said the fellow for her, she just absolutely loved. And I'm sure we're going to hear that. Madison Williams. Madison, you're next up on the dial. Tell us a little bit about you and which of the National Newspaper Publicists Association's members that you were with this summer.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. I'm Madison Williams. I am a rising junior strategic communications major at Hampton University, and I was working with the Dallas Examiner this summer, and we did a lot of writing, a lot of content creation, and I really had a blast.
Yeah, another fabulous newspaper, the Dallas Examiner, the publisher, Molly Belt. We always appreciate Molly. And we go to Desiree Williams. Desiree, tell us about your school, a little bit on your background and who you were working with.
Hi, everybody. My name is Desiree Williams. I am a graduating senior at Howard University, majoring in broadcast journalism, minoring in sociology, and I worked with the Washington Informer this summer. It was truly a pleasure. I learned a lot about the Black press. I learned a lot about TikTok and how to really engage audience with just who the Washington Informer is and what it's all about.
Yeah, our former chair, Denise Rolock Barnes, is the publisher at the Washington Informer. And I know Desiree has been doing a fabulous job there. I know Denise is extremely pleased, as is all the publishers. And of course, you know, we always have to let the ladies go first, Chris. So we coming to you now. Chris, tell us about you, your background. We got a couple of HUs in the house. Where are you from?
Okay, well, my name is Christopher Petty. I am a graduating senior as well, a public relations student that attends the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. And this summer, I had the pleasure of interning with the LA Sentinel. Great, amazing experience. The LA Sentinel, they brought me in with open arms. They just showed me like their style of how they do things, and we were able to collab, and we have a lot more work to go. So.
Wow, North Carolina AT&T, the Los Angeles Central, that's the Bakewell family, great family there. And of course, I know you had to have met Brandon over there, who is one of the best young journalism minds there is. So guys, tell us, and I guess we got to go do a round table, but if you find a topic, or if something comes up that you guys want to chatter about, feel free to talk to each other as well. We encourage that. June, tell us about the TikTok experience, because I know this was all about TikTok, as Desiree was mentioning. Tell us about that.
TikTok has really just changed the name in the game and has brought such a creative aspect and approach that we can really use towards journalism and reshaping our ideas of what broadcast journalism is, what storytelling is, how easy the power of that is, how accessible that is now to be on the phone and to really uplift yourself and embrace your words. I think that in my particular relationship with the Houston Forward Times, that it was great to just be continuously encouraged to explore this new platform, to explore this new way and catalyst of content creation. So I definitely feel like it's been something that I've been having so much fun getting saucy with, like getting more in tune with the edits and just how can I make this information palatable? How can I drive it out there, seeing that there's so many different ways for TikToks to even just be a thing. There's so many different TikToks, but it's definitely been fun embracing that journey and just getting creative with it.
And I know it's a two-way street, Madison. You guys have learned some things, but we in the Black press have learned from you guys. Tell us a little bit about what you were able to bring to the Black press via your TikToks and just your presence.
I think initially it was a challenge trying to figure out how I was going to reach a younger audience at a paper like the Dallas Examiner, because it's very old, it's traditional, and they don't really venture off into new hip sort of things. So I found that doing a weekly TikTok on news for the week, we have a weekly paper. So every Friday after the Thursday paper goes out, I just run over the front page, most of the front page news stories, and I compile them all into a TikTok. So they're all probably like a minute long, and it's really quick and easy. And then you have your daily news for the day. So I think that was one of my biggest contributions that people have enjoyed, and I will actually continue making those TikToks after this internship is over when I'm at school. So it's been a great opportunity.
Now, I think this was directed toward you, Madison. I was asked by our news director and producer to ask you about your 4th of July broadcast. Not you, no, June. Oh, that's June. I'm sorry, Madison. Madison's like, what in the world is he talking about? June, I understand that there's something we should all know about this 4th of July broadcast. Tell us about it.
Oh, this was this again was a funny way to use TikTok, because in this actual TikTok, I say no words and it's only like 6 seconds. I was like, let me just try and give a commentary on the 4th of July and how, at least for me, I went to a picnic on the 3rd, just to show my support for Juneteenth and just to show, let's further the conversation on, the identity of America. Let's further the conversation of holidays that were founded and that were traditionalized in periods where racism and slavery were rapid and avid. And how do we digest that as Black people who are also digesting this cookout, digesting this food? So it's just a funny way to just start a conversation.
Wow. I just dig the enthusiasm, but it figures because she's a Prince fan. Chris, I'm gonna come to you, Chris. What have you learned, and what do you believe that the Black press has learned from you guys' presence?
I think, I know the things that I have learned that I've mentioned, I know before in previous sessions, was just how to be more team oriented. It really has helped me develop the mindset of wanting to work with other people. Even when we made our trip to Detroit, it was just really good. And I told everybody I wouldn't want to go into Detroit without a different, group, just because we were able to work together, especially on our shoot days. It was just really good to be able to go to LA and do the same thing. to be able to bond with them. And like you mentioned, Brandon, he's almost like another me in a sense. We share some of the same interests. And I think that the Nnpa has learned that we're ahead in time. You know, I feel like everyone can agree that the work that we did kind of put our newspapers into the future a little bit. The LA Sentinel has just went digital 5 years ago. And, you know, that's roughly new in the age of technology today. So just knowing that the work that we put in will help advance our newspapers and only make it better, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, he's talking about Brandon Brooks of the Los Angeles Sentinel again. He's one of my favorite Black journalists there is. I appreciate Brandon and the Sentinel. Desiree, I know at the Washington Informer, the Informer is into a little bit of everything, but I know you brought a lot to the table this summer. Talk about your experience at the Informer in particular and the TikToks you may have done.
So the Informer for me has been amazing. I've learned a lot of history about DC. I'm originally from Chicago. And so moving to DC and just trying to figure out what's going on, what's popping and things like that. I feel like the Washington Informer has definitely opened up that avenue for me to just explore the history of DC. The Washington Informer is very rich in history. Like, it runs deeper than I thought it would. Just hearing so many stories about, like, my favorite part is like the spelling bee that they promoted. They were the first Black newspaper to sponsor the National Scripts spelling bee. And I thought that was amazing because Kill and the Bee is my favorite movie. And so I just thought it was very cool. And just to know that they had a part in shaping that story, that was amazing for me. And then so the TikToks, my TikToks are real centered around the history of newspapers, Black newspapers, because I didn't know a lot about Black newspapers. And so this Black newspaper has definitely opened up a new world for me. And I'm just really excited to continue the journey.
Yeah, and it's so exciting to have you guys. Let me tell you how popular you guys are. So I'm looking at the screen over here, and I'm seeing someone signing in all the way from Zimbabwe. Watching today, Tandy Mathanga is watching from Zimbabwe. So you guys are really you're bringing them in. So we like that. So I want to go back to you, June, because just to piggyback off of what Desiree was saying, I know you brought a lot to the table, but tell us a little bit about when you got the fellowship, the fellow. And the DTU Unexpected Scholarship, Discover the Unexpected Scholarship. What was that like? I know a lot of people applied. What was your thinking, June, going into it? How did you feel about your chances? And when you realized you got it, what was your reaction?
Oh gosh, this is, for me, I'm a strong believer of what's for you is for you, and what's for me, what's given to me by God is going to be for me. And that along the way, whatever tears will be shed, you know, and I'll just be grateful for them all. So similar to like some of my other fellows, we're talking about just the process of applying to opportunities and continuously like giving your all to applications and keeping your head up and your chin up, even when you receive that no. So for this particular program and just discovering the unexpected, I love being able to have that visual aspect towards it. And one of the things that was just affirmed for me was that I love the process of applying so much that I was like, whether I get in or get out, I grew literally alone in the process. And I was like, that's what makes me even want it more. So I was really like hungry for the opportunity for sure. And just being able to realize, I feel like it was all just serendipity. And I just am very thankful for all the forces just working in my favor to align me to meet my amazing fellows and the amazing newspaper that I'm working with, and really all the great people that I'm meeting in connections as well. So,
and Madison, I saw you nodding your head and smiling as what June was saying. It seems like your experience might have been similar. Tell us a little bit about the process for you in becoming a DTU Discover the Unexpected Fellow.
Yeah, so the application process, I actually heard about it from a Hampton alum. I hadn't heard about the program from anybody else, but she posted it on her Instagram story, and that's how I was like, what's this, like 15,000 you say? Let me go ahead and apply, you know. But not only for that, but for the experience. If I hadn't gotten this opportunity, I probably would be just working all summer, not much time for building my portfolio and getting this experience that I've been able to get with the Dallas Examiner. So I really appreciate the opportunity and all the people I've met. It's just been a great experience thus far. So definitely nothing I'd ever take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, you know, that 15,000 she mentioned, it can't hurt, right?
Nah, it can't at all. It's a big 15. That's a lump. So,
but what does that do for you, Chris? In all seriousness, though, you know, we hear so much about student loan debt. We hear so much about the cost of college and these universities. So that really had to, as you said, I mean, it's a nice lump sum. It really had to take some weight off your shoulders a little bit, right?
Yes, it did. Well, my dad, when I first told him that I got it, he cried, and because I'm the first person in the family to get a scholarship of this sort. I have a very athletic family, and a lot of my family has had athletic scholarships, but to have one based off of the craft and the skill that I exhibit, it really showed him, like, you know, this is really real. And that 15,000, it does do a lot. It has me in my new apartment right now. As you said, live life as a college student it has me in my new apartment. It took care of school for me. So it's just truly a blessing. And I know we've had conversations, the fellows and myself, we've had conversations about there's a reason why we're here. And I think the 15,000 just gave us extra motivation, gave myself extra motivation as well to just go after and keep doing it. Because I know if somebody wants to invest 15,000, sooner or later somebody will invest $1 million. You know, the sky's the limit. So
I like that, and thanks to Dr. Ben Chavis, the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publicists Association, Karen Carter Richards, the chair, Claudette Perry, our executive administrator, and of course, Chevrolet. This is made possible. Chevy, and teamed up with Nnpa to do DTU, Discover the Unexpected. Desiree, and to you, Desiree, that scholarship, what did it mean to you personally and to your family?
Similar to Chris, I'm actually the first in my family to go to a 4-year university. And so that kind of just took a financial burden off. Howard is expensive. And so that took a financial burden off. Definitely. It just helped me, like I'm about to graduate now. So it's definitely going to help out with them student loans that kind of racked up over the years. But just this whole opportunity and all just kind of showed me and increased my faith with my career. Like I had the fellows last night, I had this revelation that is no more I want to do this. Is no more I want to be a journalist. Is no more I want to be successful. I am. And that's what this opportunity showed me.
Wow. And Madison, again, I see you're shaking your head in agreement, smiling in agreement. Tell us about your aspirations going forward.
So I identify myself as a writer, and I'd really like to get into television writing after post-graduation. Writing on staff, or my favorite show is probably Insecure. So Issa Rae, she's literally my idol. I looked up to her so much. And just getting opportunities like these allows me to, get the experience, build my portfolio. I know journalism writing is completely different from TV writing, screenwriting, but writing is a craft. And by working on any writing projects, like you're building that strength up for whatever you do. So however I need to get there, I'm going to do it because I feel like that's where I need to be. So whatever I got to do, on to the next opportunity.
Absolutely. We are so fortunate to have had the opportunity to spend some time with you guys. I say we, meaning the National Newspaper Publishers Association. And you didn't just affect the papers that you were assigned to, that you work with, but all of the Black press of America. And so we're really proud of you guys. And I know your families are proud of you. June, I see you throwing some, you went from Prince to Muhammad Ali now. I see you throwing those blows there. You want to add to that what she was saying. Go ahead, June. Speak your mind, girl.
No, but that's how we're knocking them down. We're really out here. We're really 6 excellent HBCU students who came together to work under 6 independent Black-owned newspapers. And when it comes to these opportunities and these blessings, and we're knocking them out. We're taking it off. We're taking everything as it comes. So definitely, I was just feeling that pride for Madison.
Well, you know what? We about to feel some of all you guys' vibe. We're going to take a look at some of these TikToks right now. Well, whenever Norman's ready, we're gonna see some of these TikToks. In the meantime, Chris, I'm gonna come back to you. I think he's still queuing them up. I think I was off cue, so we'll give him a chance to fill that in. But Chris, so for you, Chris, going forward, how did this affect what you are going to do, if at all, going forward in your career?
It affected me a lot because I am the CEO and founder of HBCU On Demand. And when I first made that brand, I never thought about how much weight it would hold, just because you have different shows that end with On Demand, like different television networks. So like this experience really showed me that my idea that I thought was once small is really big. And there's a lot of people that want a brand name like that. And I'm just blessed to be able to have it. And it really just showed me that there are people out there that would love to support and see like what I'm doing. And it really helped me gain more confidence within this experience, because it lets me know that, even if I don't have trillions of followers, subscribers, or whatever the case may be, my work and craft is so it's just so well thought and well put together that it can affect HBCU students. And it made me more grateful at the end of the day that I am able to go to an HBCU and develop this platform. I've often had talks before if I thought that my platform would do good at a PWI. I don't know how PWI On Demand sounds, but it sounds less, it sounds less capturing. So it just made me forever grateful. It improved my confidence, and it just made me want to keep going with this as my brand. And then lastly, Farnsworth Bentley has been a great mentor to me as far as just being a DJ, a sound curator, a producer. So on the music side, it has really helped me tailor my interest in just knowing what I want to do and put it together.
Wow. And, you guys are all trailblazers. You're pioneers, really. Here goes some of those TikToks.
I'm excited.
So as again, he's queued that up. Look, Desiree, what can folks know or learn, or what can you share with folks that they have not known about the Black press, they have not known about TikTok? Mesh that together for us, and tell us what folks who are not in the know, what they should know, and what you can show them.
So as far as the Black press goes, I believe that us as Black people should know them, period. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the Black press until I got to Howard University. And I think that's ridiculous because I've always wanted to do journalism since I was 14 years old. And this, 3 years ago, was my first time ever hearing about a Black newspaper. And so I just really want people to know that we do exist. A lot of people like, oh, where's the Black stories? Where are the stories that are presented Black people accurately? They're here. We just have to know where they are, because I know a lot of Black newspapers are not quote unquote mainstream, but I believe that we have to start making them our mainstream if we want those stories that represent us in a positive light, that represents, that tells the most important stories in our communities, because a lot of those stories don't get told. And I'm all about telling those stories and making sure that our people are represented, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is, we need to be represented in the mainstream media accurately, whatever the story is. And so I believe that people can learn that. And through TikTok, the fast transitions and the fast videos and things like that, people really need to start paying attention to us. This is like a shameless plug for our TikToks, but people really need to pay attention to us, really, because it's so much history. It's so much stuff to learn. It's so much that we don't know. And it's really all about discovering the unexpected. And I believe that everybody needs to join us in this journey and discovering the unexpected about newspapers through TikTok, through Instagram, through YouTube, whatever the platform they feel comfortable with. But they really do need to start paying attention to these newspapers because they really do have lots to offer.
Yeah, and just so our viewers will know and you guys will know, I got to note that our videos are not necessarily compatible with StreamYard, but we're working on bringing up some more of the TikToks. Desiree, I want to go to you. The Black Press, your colleague here, Madison. I want to go to Madison, but Desiree just talked about not knowing about the Black Press. How important, Madison, do you think the TikTok experience and bringing that to the Black Press, how important do you believe that will be for the Black Press going forward and raising even more people's awareness of the Black Press?
I think it's detrimental if we want to continue supporting Black newspapers. Like, we have to continue bringing new technology to them and teaching them how to adapt and get these younger audiences engaged. And just like Desiree was saying, I really knew nothing of the Black Press, unfortunately, until I got to college. So that just goes to show, like, we need to be informing the community more about us. And actually, for my last assignment with the Examiner, it's going to be a perspective piece on why we need to be supporting local news, local Black news, as opposed to, these mainstream medias, Dallas Morning News, whatever it may be, because the stories that they tell aren't necessarily, they don't necessarily reflect the communities the way that we want them to. They tend to want the sensationalized version of news, and while we tell the real stories that are happening right in our backyard. So it's super important for us to continue working on social media, getting these different audiences so we can get the Black newspapers, continue to support them throughout the years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And June, I want you to piggyback off that too. Same line of train of thought there. What did you know about the Black Press beforehand, and how has this experience, when you introduce young ones and TikTok to the Black Press, where do we go from here, June?
Thinking about what I knew about the Black Press, I was sitting here even just like trying to visualize, with, if any, information I had before this fellowship, and really thinking about, okay, it's crazy to think about how it's very little, how it's not a lot, how it's seemingly something. I think about, like, I'm thinking about Netflix shows that have radio, podcasts, and that being sort of like pretty much now like the most current, like almost representation on television, at least, of Black media and Black news, and thinking about how that's affected me, and believing that I'm a writer, that I'm a good writer, and pretty much how TikTok and these new platforms and just the access, the power of technology, and just keeping an awareness to that as well. Keeping an awareness to, do we believe that these kids need smartphones? Do we believe that they need iPads? Do we believe that we should? Because technology is evolving, the future is coming. We should be putting, this power in their hands, especially because when did this myth come in Black schools that Black kids aren't good at math? Where did this myth come from? That we aren't good at storytelling, that we might not be as proficient in. No, none of that is true. That is all a story. That's all a narrative. That is a story. That is a through line that has not been written by us. It's not been pushed by us. But when we read it, and you continue to read your name over and over again, you had to read it 1,000 times before it was your name. But if you haven't read enough that Black people are powerful speakers, powerful writers, powerful change makers, powerful assets to the community, then you'll begin to believe those things. So this opportunity has definitely been one that's just truly just been an amazing practice of being in community with people who look like me and are avid examples of success every single day, avid examples of community. So.
Yeah, you definitely are. And I think we are getting ready to bring up, obviously, some TikTok video here. So let's check it out. Uh-oh, we don't have a sound there, Norman. Now, as we continue to try and see, this is why we need that young energy, those young, real bright minds like you guys, because otherwise we get lost in this. Chris, what do we do from here, Chris? We got, as I said, you guys are fantastic. We got the best of the best young Black minds. How do we keep, and in the Black press, how do we continue to attract our young African-American individuals to the Black press?
I feel like the best way we can do that is to be consistent in our work and do everything with purpose in mind. And honestly, like we were talking about earlier, 15,000 is really good to motivate somebody to want to apply, but it doesn't really motivate me to do my brand, what I love to do, because I've been doing this before, and I'm pretty sure everyone can agree. We've been doing this before this opportunity even came to picture. So I feel like the best way that we can get people, especially our people in our communities and people like in schools and growing up, even the youth, is to just be consistent and do everything with 100% passion. I feel like the one thing that can lose people, especially, it doesn't matter if we're talking about sports, music, anything, is that whenever that artist that we maybe once liked gets famous, gets mainstream, or gets to that certain level, it's almost like sometimes their music can change, or sometimes their direction can change, and maybe it's just for them, it's better for them, and it's not for us. But I feel like the best thing that we can do is just always keep it real and always love what we do, and not put money first, not put the fact that we're going on trips first, or different things. I think that if everybody, especially on this live stream right now, if we can all come together, and I think collaborations too, that's the last thing I'll say, showing people it's okay to collab with other people. You don't have to be self-made all the time. You can give somebody else credit, showing love. In Nnpa, this opportunity was amazing, and I think just consistency and just compassion with what we do will help us lead each other in the right direction.
Thanks, Chris, for that. And again, we are talking with the Chevy Discover the Unexpected Fellows. What a job they did this summer. Desiree, tell us, I know that generally there's a car involved, a Chevy, a GM vehicle. Was it that way this year? And if so, tell us about your experience.
So yes, there was a car involved this year that was shipped to all of us, I believe, or is in the process of being shipped still. But there was a car involved. The car was great. I'm not a driver. I actually have driving anxiety. So that's a real thing too. Yeah. And so I'm not a driver, but I did get a chance to ride in the car while one of the publishers drove the car around, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. The only thing that I was really concerned about was how would Black people or communities of color take this in, noting that there's not a lot of charging stations, noting that a lot of people don't have houses. A lot of people live in apartments. A lot of people live in shelters. A lot of people have different living situations. How would they import these charging stations into the homes that they are in? So that is the only concern that I had when it comes to communities of color. We have to be real. We have to, yeah, the car is great. It's amazing. It's amazing for people who have access to the tools necessary to upkeep the car. But we have to talk about the classes that don't have that same access as us. And I think that's where the conversation gets really real. And I think that's where we step in and say, how can we kind of bridge that gap to make electric cool, not for only upper classes, but how to make electric cool for everybody. But the car was great. There was a car involved. I love the car. I thought it was really cool. I know Chris said one time, you can't even hear the car when it's driving. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's amazing. The air conditioner it was really hot here when I had it. So the air conditioner was amazing. It's like a little port where you just slide your phone in and it charges your phone. I thought that was cool. Like, it was lit, but we just also had to have those real conversations surrounding that conversation as well.
Madison, you were pointing your finger like, yeah, you know that experience. Tell us about the car. What kind of car was it exactly? Do you remember?
It's a 2022 Chevy Bolt EV or Chevy EV Bolt, however you put it. But it was really cool. The charger that Desiree's talking about, because I actually have a wireless charger that I charge my phone from on a regular basis. So having that in the car is like super convenient, and it keeps you off your phone, because I'm guilty of, sending a quick message or just like sometimes emergencies only though, emergencies only. But no, the charger's really cool. Like they said, you really can't hear the car while it's driving. The windows are like crystal clear. It feels like you're in like a spaceship or something. Like, it's really cool. There's also so many different safety features and like driver assist features that kind of, I guess I wouldn't particularly use them myself, but someone who's new to driving or someone who's older and is a little bit more weary on the roads would probably find those really helpful. So I think as far as the future goes, the future could be electric, and these could really be tools we use instead of gas vehicles. So yeah, and they save you a lot of money. So I guess I don't really haven't had a chance to buy a car yet, but that's what I've heard.
So June, do you give it that puncher's chance or what? What's going on with your car?
I'm excited. The car has yet to make its way. I believe it is currently in Atlanta with our fellow Miles, or it might be secretly tucked off in Dallas with Madison, since I'm going to be going to Houston next week, really at the end of this weekend. So I'm going to get a chance to drive the car, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Let's say I'm very excited.
Well, that leaves you, Chris.
The car, I would say it was the perfect car to have on a trip to LA. They have charging stations like everywhere. So, and in the hotel I was staying in, they had a charging station there. So, but that was the perfect car to drive to LA with. Safety features, like Madison has stated, it's top of the line. I was driving the car, and then, people braking in front of me, and then it pops up on the window to brake. And it was just a very great car to get away from my car. I'll put it best like that. It was a good, weak car that charges by electric. So it's like I didn't have to worry about having to stop for gas in a city that I was unfamiliar with. I felt comfortable knowing that I have charge in the car and I don't have to stop for gas in the middle of the night or I don't have to, rely on certain things because it goes by energy like a phone. So that was getting adjusted to. But it was a great car. Like I turned it on 3 times because I didn't know it was on already. And it really is a luxury car. It kind of puts electric vehicles in perspective because I was really like looking at the car. I'm walking to it. I'm like, yo, this is a really nice car. But to Desiree's point as well, my newspaper, the LA Sentinel, is on Crenshaw Boulevard, and even though their area is getting more, it's getting more gentrified. It isn't to the full capacity of having charging stations everywhere. So I feel like that is something that she made a great point about. We have to kind of get in the conversation of putting this access to people in our communities. But other than that, the car, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. Discovered the unexpected. So Desiree, I'm gonna feed off you, Desiree. You mentioned about keeping things real, right? We have to have a real conversation. Tell us, Desiree. I'm gonna start with you. How can the General Motors and the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Discover the Unexpected program improve? What is needed for improvement?
For improvement, I mean, everybody, all companies across any brand, can just improve on communication. Communication is key. Communicating clear expectations, communicating just the things that people don't think needs to be communicated, but actually really do, like over communicate. That's what I would say. Just like over communicate everything. Yeah. Like anything you expect, let us know. Anything you don't expect, let us know. That's the only thing, really. Just over communicate expectations, over communicate boundaries, over communicate all of that different type of stuff.
Like, for instance, Desiree in that electric vehicle, she's not just speeding; she's going 84 miles per hour. Very, very straightforward, right? I'm gonna go to you, Madison, on the same question. What you've seen, what you've experienced, where can improvements be made?
I think it's been great, I will say that, but I think that similar to what Desiree was saying, communication is key, and more specifically, communication between, like, the communication that the fellows don't see themselves. And then when we get instruction, it was just kind of as if we were on 2 different pages with an Nnpa, and then the other people that were participating with, I just feel like, the agency.
Yeah.
I just think things needed to be clarified a bit more, and that would have been just made the process easier for all of us, I think.
Yeah. And it sounds like it didn't dampen the experience overall, though. June, no. You want to speak? Great. And June, you want to speak to the same question?
Definitely. I feel like we all have gotten like just a very valuable experience working corporately with corporate partners, working professionally, working with Black professionals, embracing our own representations as voices for our community. And just within that, just like what Desiree said, everybody has their things to improve on. Everybody can. Like, that's the number one goal. You're supposed to be looking for those things to improve on, to make it so that the next year, with our improvements, can give 6, 12, 20 more individuals this opportunity. So just even appreciate the opportunity of asking for our feedback for it. I would say that definitely, I feel like it taught me a lot of patience. One thing to for sure, because sometimes I'm just like, for some things you have to have an expectation on. If something gets sent out at 1 p.m., how many hours is going to be allotted before a response? How quick? We're all human. So
yep.
The balances can just be, just understanding those things, and understanding just, I would say we were in this in a very tricky time, especially with the pandemic. So it's crazy for me to think what this program would be like if we had spent 3 or 4 weeks together in the same city, and where we would be at in a place and point of communications. But I definitely feel like just I think one thing, just one improvement would just be, being real. Like, being real, let us know. Like, let us know everything. Like, you feel me? If somebody didn't hit you back, so you can hit us back. Like, let us know. But that's about it.
Chris, I hope you're not ready to hit nobody like June, but same question to you, Chris. Improvements. Where improvements necessary?
I would say, one, I agree with everybody. Two, what I think can be improved is, and this is just for the future, for any fellow that comes in the future, is letting them know, I don't want to use power, but letting them know how much of a say they do or don't have, respectfully. Like, not saying anybody was disrespected, but letting somebody know, like, hey, in this area, you have a lot more say than you think. Or in this area, like, this is very structured, so we have to go through things this way. And I feel like as we are all CEOs of our businesses, we all, do things on our own. We may be in a position where we feel like, okay, this is all about me, but it hasn't been communicated like, no, this is about everybody. And then when we get into those situations where it's all about us, we have that same mind frame, like it's about everybody. And it kind of can give a mix up, but just letting fellows or just anybody who works know, like, hey, this time is for you. This is you. You can call the shots. Or, hey, this time it's to be a team player. But I agree with everybody. It was a great experience, but I feel like everyone gave great insight.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to hear directly from you guys on what needs to be improved. So it's great to hear that. Do any of you, I'm reading the question here, did any of you plan to continue pursuing a journalism career following the fellowship? And I got some yeses there. Desiree?
So yes, my goal was always to do journalism. I've been in journalism since I was 14 years old. I started off as a student journalist, and I just fell in love with the craft, the art. Journalism is really an art. You really have to know what you're doing in an aspect, because if you just have to have that personality, you have to have that drive, you have to have that motivation, because being a journalist is hard, but being a Black journalist is even harder. And so I believe that this opportunity just really, I don't want to say validated, but in a way I do. I want to say that it validated my experiences, and it just really let me know that I got this. Like anything I want to do, I got it. And so this opportunity just really put me in a position where I was able to work with a Black newspaper. This is the first time I ever worked with a Black newspaper. And it put me in a position to where I see the other side of journalism that we don't always get to see. And so it just kind of it came around full circle for me, because I want to be this journalist who promotes our community, who talks about our community, and to have this, I really want this to be my last fellowship. After this, I don't want to do any more internships no more. I want my career after this. Like I'm going for the big dollars next. But this kind of just brought everything full circle for me. Everything full circle. So definitely, yes, I am pursuing my journalism career.
Great. I know Chris is as well. He shook his head. Yes. Madison, what do you foresee going forward now as far as your career? What career is that? What career path are you taking?
Like I said before, I'm going to be a television writer or a screenwriter.
That's right. You did say that.
Y'all will see me on the Emmys, the Oscars, whatever the case may be. But my whole background has been in journalism. Like that's really all I know. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm trying to write my own, mini web series and stuff like that. So all the stuff that I've learned within journalism, I will definitely be taking along the ride to get into the entertainment industry. So
when you win that Emmy, when you win that Oscar, and we call you up for an interview, you know, how many people we're gonna have to go through, but is that ultimately gonna be a yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anytime, I always try to go back and pour back into those who have poured into me. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And June, you know, it's fascinating to think what you might have in store. Give us a glimpse of June's future.
I am #1 on the Billboard charts. I am somebody whose ministries and charities have led to over 100,000 Black women and girls receiving full ride scholarships through their universities and colleges. I am a pinnacle leader. I am a sold out designer. I'm a content creator, and I'm an artist. So I'm excited to keep developing. And I started this thing off saying I was a business major, and I never even thought about journalism. I never even thought about writing. You see, I thought I never thought, but I clearly was thinking about these things for a long time. So very grateful. The future is a blessing, and I'm so grateful to God for it. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, and June, just so you know, just in time, Karen Carter Richards writes in that these are some amazing DTU fellows. Can't wait to see you in Houston next week, June. Karen, June's been acting up here, Karen. So when you see her, you know you got to talk to her a little bit. Chris, we already know where your primary goals. I think they are well stated and well shown. But give us a little glimpse. You know, June didn't say that she was going to try. She didn't say that she may be. She said, I am. Tell us about you. What Chris Petty am?
I am a CEO, and I am someone who will provide this opportunity to others. It is my goal to have interns of my own. It is my goal to have, I don't even want to call it employees. I just want to say build a family within my organization. And I just feel like with my company, HBCU On Demand, like there's so much potential there, but also knowing that in the future, journalism is going to be one piece, but I want to branch off. As a DJ and as a sound curator, I bring people together with my sound, but I want to be able to bring people together with events, with community events, bringing people together, and not only just do journalism, but to have an HBCU On Demand scholarship for somebody who is waiting for it, to have an HBCU On Demand app, HBCU On Demand network, just because I feel like that representation is low. And so I am someone who wants to represent everybody. And just a little bit on my platform, I highlight everything that's Black owned and HBCU, just so I'm not cutting off just at HBCUs. I want to highlight everything Black owned. So I've highlighted different biology pages such as Hope in Medicine. I've highlighted clothing brands and things of that sort, because I want everybody to have a chance and opportunity. And that's what I feel like I am. I am an opportunist, and I am a CEO at the end of the day.
Wow. This is, it's so fascinating. It's so fulfilling hearing each of you state with such conviction. This is what young folks are bringing. This is what our community needs. This is what the Black press needs. Desiree, you highlighted that early on. Tell us a little bit more about, actually tell our audience who might not know, because some of you guys have said you didn't even know what the Black press was until Chevy DTU with Nnpa. Tell some of our listeners and other young folks in general, young Black folks in general, Desiree, the value of the Black press.
Absolutely. So the value of the Black press is to highlight the stories in our communities that are almost never told by mainstream media, are almost never told in the correct way. That's what irks me the most. Like, they're never told in the correct way. They never are told in a way that adds value. It's never told in the way that is an asset to the community. It's never told in a way that highlights the positive things that are going on a day-to-day basis. Mainstream media don't talk about what's going, like, we're 6 Black HBCU students having the opportunity of a lifetime. To me, this is front page. I'm not saying that just because it's me. If it was anybody, it's front page. It's a front pager automatically off top. Students doing whatever they can to reach their goals. Students doing going above and beyond, making sure that, like Chris said, he wants to give back to his community and do scholarships. You don't hear a lot of Black men in particular saying they want to do this. And so the Black press is definitely just a way to bridge that gap between the news that we hear and the news that we don't hear, and to shine a positive, and I stress that, a positive, accurate light on our communities, because it's so important to. I'm kind of nerd, so I really do love the history and loving just the background of the Black press. And the Black press started with the Freedom's Journal. And so the Freedom Journal just really, they put obituaries, they put anything Black went in that newspaper. And I truly believe with all my heart that we really need to get back to that, especially in this day and time where there's so much going on in the Black community, so much. We need newspapers like these to step up and to shine. And the Black press is doing that. We just really have to pay attention to them.
Wow. That's what a testimony, Desiree. We appreciate that. We appreciate you. Madison, I know we are running out of time, but I wanted to ask you a similar question. What can you now tell your peers about the Black press of America?
I can tell my peers and the audience that the Black press is here for us to use as a tool, not only for news, but for anything going on in the community. COVID-19 resources, Black scholarships. You can find out about missing children in your area. There's just so many things that are in the Black press and in these Black newspapers that we can learn from and use as tools and resources. So as Desiree said, we definitely need to go back to the ways of really supporting Black businesses, Black newspapers, anything Black. So, yeah.
And Chris, same question for you. What can you tell your peers and our audience about the Black press?
I can tell my peers and the audience that the Black press is definitely for us, like has been stated before, but most definitely that it opens a door and a window of opportunity for not even just news, but for people such as myself and such as the fellows to put their name out there. And it opens up, you never know who could be the next who. You never know who we can inspire. You never know what idea Desiree, Madison, June may have that could change the world forever. And it's almost like one of those things where Desiree was saying, this isn't front page, not because it's not just us, but this needs to be, because you never know what our brands can do. We could save someone's life and give them hope. We can really change the direction. So I would tell my peers to always believe in yourself, because if there are people out there that are willing to believe in us and give us a chance to showcase our platform, to just keep doing what you're doing. There's never enough time to fulfill everything in one day. So just aim for the stars, because a few good ideas, a few good posts later, and you're making posts, you're doing journalism for somebody else, you're doing public relations like what I do for somebody else. So just keep going, keep grinding, keep working hard is what I would tell my peers in the audience, because your time is coming, my time is still coming. It's just the like I said, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, Chris Petty, a DTU Discovered the Unexpected Chevy and Nnpa Fellow with Los Angeles Sentinel, Desiree Williams with the Washington Informer, Madison Williams is with the Dallas Examiner, and June. That's right, it's just June, y'all. She said it's like Prince. She's with the Houston Forward Times. They are all some great fellows. June, take us home with that same question. What can you tell your peers and our viewing audience about the Black press that they should know?
Definitely. Thank you. I would just love to tell everybody who's watching, and even folks who watch even after this broadcasted, that Black press is here for you. It is here for you. It is here for you. There's been a system. There's been a legacy. There's been a network that has been years and years and years in the making, and that's our inheritance. Let's go and let's use it, and let's make it something that'll just even make our the people before it, our torchbearers, smile, and let's continue to thrive. So thank you Black press, for believing in us. Thank you for investing in us. This is like a $250,000 program just for a month. You know what I'm saying? You add that $15,000 up. That's so
Wait, June, wait. What was that alarm?
just your casual 1202 alarm. Just your casual.
See, I hope, and I'm sure she is, our chair, Karen Carter-Richards, over at the Houston Forward Times, is watching. This is what June brought to the program today. A lot of alarm. She's too much. They all are just enough. They are fantastic. Discover the unexpected. That's what they did. And they also taught us a lot of things we didn't expect. So this is what the Chevy Nnpa's DTU program is all about. We really appreciate y'all. We can't say enough. The work you guys have done, the dedication you've shown, and the leadership you've shown. Congratulations. We will be following your careers going forward. We thank you so much. We thank everybody for watching. You guys are phenomenal. It's a privilege to have you. Everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe and stay well. We'll see you next week.